My girlfriend texted, "My polyamory is not a phase. Accept it or I'm gone." I replied, "Noted." Then I changed the locks and forwarded her text to her very traditional parents. She was frantically banging on my door, screaming it was all a huge misunderstanding. I, 28M, am still kinda reeling, but also weirdly calm, if that makes sense. It's been a wild 24 hours. Yesterday I'm at work, trying to debug some code that's making my brain melt, and my phone buzzes. It's my girlfriend, Amanda, 26F. We've been together 3 years, living together in my place for the last one. I thought things were good. Guess not. The text message, "Kevin, we need to talk. I've done a lot of thinking and my polyamory is not a phase. It's who I am. You need to accept it or I'm gone. Let me know." Polyamory. Okay, this was new. We'd talked about sexual preferences, boundaries, the future, all of it. Polyamory was never ever on the table. I'm strictly a one-woman kind of guy, and she always said she was too. I stared at the text. "No, I want to discuss this. No, can we figure this out? Just an ultimatum. Accept this fundamental change in our relationship or it's over." My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Part of me wanted to rage, to call her, to demand an explanation. But then her words, "Accept it or I'm gone." She'd made her decision and was just waiting for mine. So I replied, "Noted." Then I got practical. She said, "She's gone if I don't accept it. I don't accept it. Therefore, she's gone." Her words, "My apartment is mine. I bought it before I met her. She's not on the lease or mortgage. She moved in with her stuff. She'd chip in for groceries or utilities sometimes, but it was never a fixed formal thing. More like, I'll grab the takeout this week, or here's some cash for the internet bill." First call. A locksmith. Explained I needed an emergency lock change. He said he could be there in an hour. Second action. Packed her essentials, clothes, toiletries, her laptop, chargers, things she'd need immediately. Put them in her suitcases by the door. Not throwing her stuff in the street. I'm not a monster. Just facilitating her decision. Third action. Her parents. They are very traditional. Salt of the earth, but old school. They adore me. Generally think I'm a good influence on Amanda. They've also been quite supportive of her financially. If she's making this kind of life choice, they deserve to know, especially if she's about to land on their doorstep. I forwarded her the text message. No commentary, just the text. The locksmith arrived, changed the locks. Quick, efficient. Cost me a bit, but peace of mind is priceless, right? I was just finishing up, putting her makeup bag into one of the suitcases when my phone exploded. Her mom, Carol. Her voice was tight. "Kevin, what on earth is this text Amanda sent you? She just called me sobbing, saying you threw her out. What is happening?" Me. "Carol, I was as surprised by her text as you are. She sent it an hour ago, giving me an ultimatum about polyamory. If I don't accept it, she's gone." "I don't accept it. I haven't thrown her out. I'm respecting her stated decision to leave under those terms." "Polyamory? That's not Amanda." "Are you sure? She's saying this is a huge misunderstanding." "Kevin, she needs her things. Where is she supposed to go?" Me. "Her immediate belongings are packed by the door, Carol. She needs to figure out where she's going. She's the one who issued the ultimatum, not me." Carol sounded distressed and confused, muttering something about needing to talk to Amanda again before hanging up. Not 10 minutes later, my video doorbell goes off. It's Amanda. Face like thunder. Then the banging starts, loud, and shouting, "Kevin, open this damn door." "What the hell did you do?" "I just watched on my phone. She's really going at it." "Kevin, this is a huge misunderstanding. My mom just called me. Let me in. We need to talk about this. You can't just lock me out." "A misunderstanding?" Her text was crystal clear. And as I'd find out later, even her claim of it being a misunderstanding was just another layer of manipulation. "My parents are going ballistic. What did you tell them?" "Kevin." More banging. Then she tried her key, obviously. Rattled it in the lock. More screaming. "You psycho. This isn't fair. I didn't mean it like that." How else could "accept it or I'm gone" be meant? I sat on my couch, her stuff neatly packed a few feet away. I sent her a text. "Amanda, your belongings are packed. You can arrange a time to pick them up with a police escort if you feel it's necessary. Otherwise, let me know when you and a friend can come for them. I'm respecting your decision to leave based on the terms you set." The banging stopped, then a string of texts from her. Curses. Accusations. Then pleading, saying I'm overreacting, that she just wanted to start a conversation. With an ultimatum? Yeah, right? It's quiet now. Been about an hour since she left. My phone is still blowing up with texts from her, and now her dad, Brian, who is less emotional but clearly demanding answers about why his daughter is suddenly homeless and hysterical. Told him the same thing I told Carol. Amanda made her choice. I feel weirdly free and a bit sad. 3 years down the drain via text. But if this is how she handles things, maybe I dodged a bullet. Now just gotta deal with the fallout. Update 1. 1 week later, man. What a week. Thanks for all the comments and DMs. Good to know I'm not the only one who thinks ultimatums via text are a crappy way to handle things. So Amanda did not take being locked out well. Shocker. After the initial door-banging extravaganza, she apparently went to her parents' place. From what Brian later told me, they were already deeply concerned and confused by the polyamory text I'd forwarded. When Amanda arrived in a state, they took her in, but it was evidently very tense. Amanda apparently tried to spin it that I had massively overreacted to a hypothetical discussion and was being controlling. Her dad, Brian, called me the next day. He sounded torn. Brian, Kevin, I've spoken with Amanda, and Carol and I saw the text you forwarded. To be honest, we're struggling to understand Amanda's message. Polyamory is unexpected. She claims you misinterpreted her, that she was just trying to explore feelings. Brian, with all due respect, her text was an ultimatum. Accept it or I'm gone. There was no mention of exploring feelings or discussion. It was a clear condition. I didn't accept the condition. What was I supposed to do? She's very upset. Feels you've been incredibly harsh. She mentioned wanting to discuss things calmly. Me. Internal eye roll. An ultimatum isn't calm, Brian. It's a demand. If she wanted a discussion, she chose a terrible way to start it. Her things are ready for her to pick up. He sighed heavily. She believes you're being vindictive for not just talking it out after her text. I'm being logical. She set the terms for the end of the relationship if her condition wasn't met. I simply acted on those terms. The next day, Amanda's best friend Melissa started texting me, non-stop. Clearly, she'd only heard Amanda's highly edited, victim-focused version of events. Melissa, Kevin, you need to give Amanda a chance to explain. She told me you totally blew up over a misunderstanding. She's a wreck. You broke her heart by overreacting to her trying to be open with you. Melissa, she made a mistake in how she worded it, okay? She was scared and it came out wrong. You should be more understanding. Me to Melissa, after her tirade. Melissa, Amanda gave me a clear ultimatum. I made my choice based on that. She is now trying to rewrite history. She needs to arrange to get her stuff. Then the entitlement really ramped up. Amanda texted me, saying she'd come for her things on Saturday. Fine. I said I'd be there. Saturday comes. Amanda shows up, not with a friend. With Melissa and her younger brother, George. George is a decent kid, but clearly dragged into this and looking uncomfortable. Amanda marches in, not a word to me, and starts directing Melissa and George like they're her personal movers. Amanda, to Melissa, loudly enough for me to hear, make sure you get my expensive skincare from the bathroom. The La Mer stuff. He better not have touched it. Then she sees her stuff packed. You packed my things in these bags? Seriously, Kevin? Some of this is delicate. They're your suitcases, Amanda. Whatever. George, grab my big art canvas from the spare room. Spare room? That's my home office. She has a small easel in the corner. Actually, Amanda, that canvas is mine. I bought it for that landscape painting course I took last year. Don't be ridiculous, Kevin. I was going to use it. It's practically mine. No, it's literally mine. You can take your easel and your paints, but the canvas stays. She scoffed. You're unbelievable. So petty. Then Melissa chimes in, holding up a designer handbag I got her for her birthday last year. Melissa, she gets to keep this, right? Since you're being such a jerk about everything else. It was a gift. Of course she keeps her gifts. Trying to stay calm. Amanda then starts going through my bookshelves. What are you doing, Amanda? Looking for that first edition I like. You never read it anyway. Amanda? That's my book. You're here for your belongings. Her entitlement was just breathtaking. It wasn't enough that she blew up our lives, now she was trying to walk off with my things too. They finally got most of her stuff. As they were leaving, Amanda paused at the door. You're gonna regret this, Kevin. You threw away something amazing because you're too rigid. I didn't throw it away, Amanda. You did, when you sent that text. She just glared and stormed out. Later that evening, I got a Venmo request from Amanda for $200. Memo, emotional distress. I declined it, with a note, lol. Then another one for $50. Memo, my share of the last grocery run I paid for. Given our informal way of splitting things, this was petty and opportunistic, but not entirely out of character for how she sometimes handled shared expenses if she felt put out. Still, considering the circumstances, declined. This isn't over, is it? The sheer audacity. Part of me wants to laugh, part of me is just tired, but also, weirdly, more resolved. She's shown her true colors, and they're not pretty. Update 2, 1 month later. Wow. Just when I thought the Amanda saga was winding down, it went nuclear. But I gotta say, the ending is pretty satisfying in a watch the dumpster fire you started actually consume you kind of way. So, after the disastrous move-out day and the petty Venmo requests, Amanda was still at her parents', and things were apparently going from bad to worse for her there. The polyamory explanation wasn't holding up under her parents' scrutiny. The first sign of new trouble for me was an email from my building's management company. A complaint about me. It alleged loud arguments and disturbances coming from my apartment on multiple occasions, specifically naming the night I changed the locks when she was the one screaming outside, and the day Amanda moved out when she and Melissa were being accusatory. It hinted at unstable behavior. My jaw dropped. She was actually trying to get me in trouble with my building. I immediately called management. Luckily, Mrs. Deborah, the building manager, knows me. I'm quiet, pay my mortgage on time, never cause issues. I explained the situation calmly. Girlfriend issued an ultimatum. I accepted. She created a scene outside my door when locked out, which my doorbell cam recorded, and then she was the one being loud and accusatory during the move-out. I offered to show Mrs. Deborah the doorbell footage and the original text. Miss Devon, I've already had a rather emotional phone call from your ex-girlfriend and then another from her mother earlier on, both with very dramatic versions of you unlawfully evicting her and being aggressive. I have to follow up on complaints, but frankly, their stories had some inconsistencies and seemed designed to paint you in a bad light. There was no unlawful eviction. She's not on any lease. She gave me an ultimatum to leave if I didn't accept her new lifestyle. I have the text. Mrs. Deborah. Right. Well, if you could forward me that text, and maybe a short summary of events from your perspective, plus that video, that would be helpful for our records to close this out. Sent it all. The complaint was dismissed a day later. Amanda's attempt to paint me as the aggressor failed, but the real kicker came a week after that. I got a call from Brian, Amanda's dad. He sounded defeated and genuinely ashamed. Brian, Kevin, Carol and I owe you a significant apology. Me, oh? Amanda, it wasn't just about polyamory, Kevin. She's been having an affair, for months, with a married man. My blood ran cold. That was a detail she'd conveniently omitted from her "it's who I am" declaration. Carol was suspicious after Amanda kept changing her story about the text and your reaction. She found messages on Amanda's old tablet that Amanda had carelessly left at our house. Apparently, this guy, Timothy, was supposed to leave his wife. Amanda concocted that polyamory text, thinking you'd either accept being one of her partners or you'd be the one to leave, freeing her up to move Timothy into your apartment. When you immediately called her bluff and changed the locks, her whole scheme imploded. The polyamory angle was a desperate, botched attempt to make her affair sound like some enlightened lifestyle choice. My mind was racing. The phase comment in her text, the ultimatum, her frantic claims of a misunderstanding when faced with actual consequences. It was all a calculated, manipulative power play. Me, Brian, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry you and Carol had to find out like that. She lied to us, son, completely. Said you were the controlling one, that you misunderstood her intentions. Carol is heartbroken. After we confronted Amanda with the messages, and shortly after Timothy's wife apparently discovered the affair and all hell broke loose over there, Timothy unsurprisingly decided to stay with his wife. Amanda had a total meltdown. She packed a bag and stormed out of our house. Said she was going to stay with Melissa. A few days later, Melissa called Carol, said Amanda was an emotional wreck, completely self-absorbed, not helping with anything, and that Melissa couldn't handle the constant drama and told her to leave. So, the entitlement wasn't just about my apartment or my books, it was about wanting to orchestrate everyone's lives to suit her desires, with zero regard for the fallout. The ultimate consequence for Amanda? Her carefully constructed narrative completely imploded. The affair exposed, her enlightened polyamory was revealed as a common, deceitful affair. Timothy, the affair partner, went back to his wife, leaving Amanda high and dry. Karma. Parental disappointment. Brian and Carol, who she'd tried to manipulate against me, saw her true colors. Brian told me they were deeply disappointed and ashamed, and had told Amanda that while they wouldn't see her on the street, she needed to find a job, get serious counseling, and stand on her own 2 feet. The bank of mom and dad was officially closed for her lifestyle choices. Friendship lost. Even Melissa, her initial staunch defender, who had only heard Amanda's sob story, quickly tired of the toxicity and entitlement once she got a full dose of the real Amanda under pressure. Last I heard, Amanda was bouncing between other acquaintances, her welcome wearing thin quickly. Her reputation, her attempt to slander me with the building management backfired, only making her look unhinged and malicious. I didn't have to lift a finger for any of this. Amanda's own actions, her lies, and her entitlement were the architects of her downfall. She created the storm, and now she's weathering it, alone. A few days ago, I got one last text from Amanda from a new number. Amanda, I hope you're happy, Kevin. You ruined my life and turned everyone against me. I didn't even bother to reply. Just blocked the new number. I won't lie, there's a grim satisfaction in knowing that her deceit caught up with her so spectacularly. It's not revenge in the active sense, but it's certainly justice. The natural consequences of her choices hit her hard. I'm doing good. Really good. The apartment feels like mine again. Peaceful. Been reconnecting with friends I'd neglected because Amanda didn't like them, probably because they saw through her BS. The brief moment of vulnerability I felt when this all started is gone, replaced by a sense of clarity. Sometimes the best response to betrayal is just to step back and let the betrayer deal with the mess they made. And in Amanda's case, it was a 5-alarm mess. Thanks for letting me share Reddit. It's been a ride, time to officially move on.